Understanding role-based access, RBAC authorization, securing pods and logins. In this section, I will tell you about role and cluster role and namespaces, creating a service account and binding this into a deployment or a pod, referring to resources and aggregated cluster roles, and creating a user for Kubernetes, so putting everything together. Role and cluster role and namespaces. In this video, I'll tell you what is a namespace, what is role-based access, and role and a cluster role. A namespace. Namespaces are intended for using environments with many users to spread across multiple teams or projects. Or you can put different environments in there, like a DTAP environment. Namespaces provide scopes for names. Names of resources must be unique in the namespace, but not across the namespace. So, as stated, you can use this perfectly for a DTAP environment. So your development or your test or your acceptation environment or your production environment can have the same kind of pods with different configuration files. Namespaces are a way to divide your cluster resources between multiple users via resource quota or role-based access. So you can put policies, role-based access, on namespaces. So if you want to have a big Kubernetes cluster for different departments across your company, you can use namespaces for that. So namespaces are used to separate environments. We've got an example of a namespace. Like a normal object has an API version, has a kind namespace, and has some metadata. The metadata is here the name of the namespace. So in this example is it name my namespace. So if you run this, it will create a namespace. And how does a namespace look in the Kubernetes? You can see in the Kubernetes systems your namespace. So if you do kubectl get namespace, you will see all the namespaces which are in the Kubernetes system. So you've got your default, you've got an always, you got kubepublic, you're getting that from Kubernetes, and you got kubesystem. In kubesystem, you will see all pods of the Kubernetes system. And in default, if you don't add a namespace to your YAML or your config files, it will go in the default namespace. So let's have a look at the namespace.yaml. So it's just like I told you in the presentation, API, kind, and metadata. So let's create this namespace. So kubectl create -f4.1 namespace. So it will state namespace created. So if you do a kubectl, get namespace, you will see that we have now a namespace. What is role-based access? It's creating security for your namespace. Role-based access is very difficult. So I'll tell you in 2 videos how to set it up. In the last video, I will show you how to put everything together. So what's role-based access? It gives you fine-grained control how users access the API resources running on your cluster. So you can give a team access to a namespace, allowing admins dynamically configure policies on objects. So also you can create a pod and give that pod access to everything you want to give him access to in the Kubernetes system. So if you have a monitoring pod, you can give him access to everything in Kubernetes. It can be applied to the whole cluster or on a specific namespace. You've got 2 types, and I will show you in the next slide. The permissions are purely additive. That means everything is on deny and you give things permission. So normally a pod doesn't have permission to go in another namespace. So cluster and cluster role. I said in the last slide, you've got 2 kinds. You've got one is only in the namespace, the other one is cluster-wide. If you create a role, it's giving you access in the namespace. So if you have a user who wants to connect from the outside, you have a role to give him access to the namespace. But if you have like an admin or someone who needs rights to all the namespaces, you will give him a cluster-wide role. So both are not that different. You've got a kind, that's a cluster role or a role, API version, metadata. If you use a role, you have to give him a name, and the name must be the same, must be connected. No, it's not the same, but must connect to service account. I will show you service account in the next video. So you give him rules and you give him resources, and verbs are get, watch, list. So you will get access to secrets. You can get the secrets just like kubectl get. You can watch the secrets and list the secrets. So we will go into this in the next videos, but I will show you how to create ClusterRole. So you can do like everything kubectl get ClusterRole. So you'll see there are no cluster roles at the moment. So let's create the cluster role, kubectl create, because we want to create cluster role -f (4.1) role. So we just created a secret reader role. Let's have a look at that YAML, what we created. So this is not a cluster role, this is a role, API version metadata. It's a role in my namespaces. So we created that namespace a few minutes ago. It has a name, secret reader, it can get. So let's have a look. kubectl get role -n for namespace, and it is my namespace. So if you want to point to a specific namespace, you have to do -n. So you will see secret reader, and it's only a minute old. So we can also describe this. So name secret reader has resources. You can connect to secrets, get, watch, list.